my last video, yes, that one right there, I talked about where I believe fashion is headed in 2026. And that video wasn't about trends. It was actually about the shifts shaping how women get dressed and what they buy. But today is the follow-up, and it is about trends. Because while predictions are interesting, what most of us really want to know is, what does this mean for my closet? And even more than that, how can I know about it ahead of time so I can stay in front of the curve? So these are not runway trends, and they are not TikTok moments, but they are my 7 trend predictions for 2026. We're going to pull out the crystal ball and see if I can actually predict the future. Hey everybody, it's Kelly Snyder from Adore Your Wardrobe, and if this is your first time here, I just want to say welcome, and I'm really glad you found this channel. For the last 10 years, I've run an online fashion education program called Adore Your Wardrobe, and it helps women demystify fashion by learning how to dress their unique body types using formulas based in math and science. We talk about cuts, and proportions, and fabrics, and colors, and accessories, and all the things that really make outfits work without chasing the trends or losing yourself in the process. Now, before we get started, you may be thinking, especially if this is your first time seeing me, who is this lady, and why does she think she can make any sort of fashion trend predictions? And honestly, it's a fair question, right? Like, I know if I was watching a video, I'd be like, well, why does she think she can say any of this stuff? But this is why I feel really confident doing this. First, I have access to large apparel and accessory markets. I own a boutique, so I get to see what will be in stores before you all do, sometimes 18 months in advance. Second, I have a large community of women who share their purchases with me, and that gives me an enormous amount of real-world data. And third, well, I talk to women every day through Instagram and Threads and even my own community, and I listen to their frustrations, and I watch how they're responding to fashion right now. And those 3 things, well, they make me a little different because I'm not an influencer. I'm a buyer and an analyst and a stylist, and a community leader, and an educator. And honestly, I'm really pretty good at predicting. So I hope you find these predictions valuable, and I'd be curious to see how many of them you're thinking about adding into your wardrobe this year. All right, prediction number 1, and that's that full-length pants become the default. Now, some of you may be having a moment right now because you're like, wait, what? Full-length pants, but I just bought a pair of crop pants for the first time last fall. Like, what's going on here? So understand, crop pants won't disappear completely, but they're really going to stop being the default. And why I'm calling this, and I'm saying this prediction, is that women are really done fighting proportions. Between a cropped pant that is also a higher rise, we've been constantly looking out of balance for the last 12 months. And full-length pants, honestly, are easier to wear, easier to style, and more forgiving across body types. Now, the good news is that if you made an investment in the kind of mid-shaft, little bit taller shaft booties, they are still going to work beautifully with these full-length pants. And I have a little side prediction here. I actually think we're going to see an increase in flare styles. I love a flare personally, but they are one of the best silhouettes for a full-length pant. Now, when you can expect to see this shift is going to be after summer 2026, so expect by fall that it's going to be full-length pants everywhere as the default. Prediction number 2, and that's that standout pieces showcase personal style. So 2026, we're going to see the focus shift from common to unique. So instead of buying this like perfectly styled set, women are going to build outfits around one interesting piece. What does that look like for you? Well, that may mean a statement jacket, or sculptural or personalized jewelry, or vintage inspired bags, or shoes that feel intentional, not necessarily safe. Now, why do I think this trend is going to happen? Well, honestly, Gen Z changed the value system around style. They thrift, they shop secondhand, and uniqueness for them now signals confidence. Wearing exactly what everyone else has, well, they don't like it. They feel like that feels like herd mentality. And even though this trend started with younger women, I really do believe that it's going to move into mainstream retail by spring of this year. So expect to see some more unique pieces, different pieces, more standout statement pieces than you have in the past. And the thing that I want you to remember is that this doesn't have to be complicated, this desire to be unique and not to be common. It can be as easy as creating your own customized layered necklace, or a customized bracelet stack, or wearing a vintage scarf, or digging out your grandma's brooches. The goal is really simple with this trend, and it's that you want to have an item on your outfit or a piece that you just don't see everywhere else. Prediction number 3. And that's that silhouettes are gonna get more refined. Historically, fashion silhouettes shift about every 10 years. And technically, the last shift should have happened around 2020, but COVID delayed it 3 to 4 years, honestly. And so I believe that the next silhouette shift will actually happen early, and it's going to be slimmer and more refined than what we've seen in the past. And what I mean by that is that straighter lines we're going to see more often instead of kind of this extreme volume. We're going to see more tailored tops and blouses and jackets. We're going to see less layering for just the sake of layering and more refinement. Now, why do I believe this will happen? I believe it'll happen because, again, traditionally we see a silhouette shift every 10 years, and the last one was late, so I think this next one's going to be early. But honestly, I think oversize kind of has had its moment, and women want to actually see the outfit again. And then there's this other thing, which I call the Ozempic effect. So as women lose weight using GLP-1s, they want to show off their new bodies. And that's really hard to do in wide leg jeans and boxy blazers. So the solution? More streamlined. Now, the bonus to this, in my opinion, and this is with working with women over the last 10 years, is that this last silhouette that we've been working with, this like boxy jackets and the wide leg jeans, is really hard for most women to pull off. And a streamlined silhouette, well, it makes anyone, regardless of your size, look lighter and look slimmer, because you are going to remove the excess fabric, and excess fabric actually adds visual weight. Now, this shift, I don't think we're going to see it until fall of 2026, but I do think it's going to start creeping in a little bit at the end of the summer. Prediction number 4, and that's the rise of high-end basics. So my 4th prediction is that basics are going to start taking center stage, but only good ones. In 2026, I really see women spending more on elevated tees and tanks, beautiful knits in all sleeve lengths, and trousers with some movement and some drape. So why do I think that's going to happen now versus like, why wouldn't it, like basics that are elevated, why wouldn't that have happened like 2-3 years ago or over the last 5 years? Well, honestly, I think we're going to see this really bubble up to the top because this trend sits at the intersection of 3 different things. First is that trend fatigue is real. Second is that women want better fabrics. And the third is that Pantone's color of the year is Cloud Dancer. And for those that don't know, Cloud Dancer is just a version of white. And when the color of the year is white, quality really becomes impossible to hide. Like, you have to have quality when you're wearing white, or else it's just gonna look frumpy. And as I've talked about before, women are also starting to flip over the fabric label, and they're evaluating how things feel, how they feel in their hands, and do they feel quality. And so instead of 10 okay pieces, which we may have been all right with before, we're buying 2 or 3 that really feel amazing, and they feel like they're gonna hold up over time. It's this trend where basics stop being just filler and they actually become the backbone of an outfit. And I really believe that we're going to start seeing this clearly in spring of 2026, but even more so in fall of 2026. Okay, prediction 5 is a fun one, and that's that glam returns, but it's wearable. Okay, and when I say glam is back, I do not mean the 80s. There is no shoulder pads, there's no gallons of Aquanet. This is kind of a situation where like grit is going to meet glamour. So think of grit like wearing your favorite pair of denim jeans or some leather or suede, having a little bit of fringe, texture, cowboy boots. These are all things that we saw last fall with kind of like this Ralph Lauren movement that was going through. But now we're going to pair them with a bit of glamour. So it's tops and blouses in silk and jackets in velvet and really much more structured blouses and jackets and higher heels and bolder jewelry. It's this contrast that essentially matters, right? It's this contrast between kind of this like gritty, kind of well-worn look with then complementing it and contrasting it with kind of this more higher end kind of fabrics and details. And honestly, if you want to know who I think like does it the best, I would look at Angela from Landman, because I think she has a great example of how it's done well. But if you watch Landman like me and you're like, wait, what? Like Angela feels like a lot. I'm not sure that's the way I want to dress. Know that there's a lot more realistic ways to do this. It's kind of like about adding a high-end silk blouse with some well-worn jeans and cowboy boots, or adding faux fur as a jacket, or maybe the faux fur as a small detail on your sweaters or shoes, or a structured blazer over a satin or lace cami with jeans and boots. It's this contrast between the well-worn and kind of the luxurious and the glamour. So why do I feel like this trend is going to start taking off now? Well, after years of really casual dressing, and let's be honest, the athleisure movement has been around forever. Women want polish again, but they still want the comfort. So it's adding that well-worn item with kind of that new and sparkly thing. And so in 2026, this glam is going to become strategic. But the thing I want you to remember, or maybe this is like my moment where I'm like, hey, just like as you're putting your outfit together, like have me in the back of your head saying like, shh, wait. One glam element is enough. Okay, you don't need to like dump on the glam, because too much glam and suddenly you're going to be back in the 80s and you're going to start feeling like you're part of Dynasty or Dallas. Remember, we're looking for Landman, not Knots Landing. Okay, this trend, I really think we're already starting to see this in stores, but I expect it to continue through the end of this year, and I really think we'll see it take center stage in fall. Okay, prediction number 6, and that's that accessories are going to take center stage. Now, this one I feel really confident about. It's not to say that the previous 5 I didn't feel confident about, but like, I'm seeing this bubble up in so many different ways, and just in the discussions that are happening on threads and what people are talking about on Instagram and things that normal people, not influencers, are showing. So accessories have kind of taken a back seat for the last few years. Part of that's due to the athleisure movement, because why on earth would you wear like big, bold accessories, with your Spanx set? Like that didn't feel like that worked together. But because we're seeing more traditional and structured dressing, we are going to see those accessories start taking center stage. We're seeing right now even a revival of Coach bags, where people are looking for the older Coach bags and having them redone and wearing them with pride, or actually this revival of choosing Coach over necessarily some other higher end brand. We're seeing vintage Kendra Scott becoming really sought after. And the huge advancements in jewelry making also mean that we're seeing bigger, bolder pieces, but they're not done in kind of the crappy way that they used to be done in the early 2000s. They are looking more high-end, more luxurious. And because of those advancements, it makes it easier to wear. So as we're seeing the return of outfits essentially being built around an accessory. And if you kind of want to have a moment of like, well, what did that look like? Think of the early 2010s and think of Kendra Scott and the Harlow era. But this time, it's going to be a little better. I love this shift. I really do, because great accessories instantly elevate basics, and they can be worn more often than just a regular clothing item. And I love the fact that your accessories can easily move across seasons. So in 2026, look for jewelry that is stainless steel, plated in 14 or 18 karat gold, and rhodium, especially in the sculptural designs. These pieces are going to work with everything that you see in the stores. And honestly, we're starting to see more and more of those pieces in stores now. But I really feel like the momentum is going to be carried through till the end of this year. So don't be afraid to go big and bold. It's kind of what we're looking for. All right, my last prediction number 7, is that statement outerwear is going to take center stage. This one might be the most visible and surprising trend of them all. And that is in 2026, outerwear stops being like an afterthought and it becomes the outfit. We're seeing these everyday outerwear pieces really imagined and reimagined in new ways, like an Adidas track jacket with these smock details, or a traditional silhouette, but it's made in unexpected fabrics, like a woven cropped faux leather jacket. We're seeing jean jackets with blouse sleeves and oversized pockets and unique construction. And I love this because one great jacket kind of lets you express your style no matter what you're wearing underneath. We're seeing this already happening in stores, and I don't believe it's going anywhere. I really honestly think as we move into spring of 2026, going into the fall, it's just going to keep increasing momentum because honestly, everybody needs a jacket. Everybody needs a coat. Everybody needs outerwear for all that seasonal weather. Okay, if you look at all 7 predictions together, the message honestly to me is pretty clear, and that's in 2026, women are looking for fewer pieces, better choices, with more intention, and honestly with more style. They're looking for those statement pieces that really set them apart. And fashion is always going to have trends, right? But I feel like we are starting to kind of move away from chasing kind of the herd trend mentality. And we're kind of moving more toward understanding what actually works, what actually makes us excited, what actually feels good in our wardrobes. And when you know your body and your proportions and your personal style formulas, these predictions, as I was telling you all, you might have had a moment where you're like, this feels really overwhelming. But when you know about your body type and you know what proportions look best on you and you know your personal style, what I just said doesn't feel overwhelming. It kind of can be freeing where you're like, I think I'm going to add that in and that in and that in. And they become tools. Tools that help you build a unique and stylish wardrobe that actually works for your life. So if you want some help figuring out which of these predictions work best for your body and your lifestyle, that's exactly what we do inside of Adore Your Wardrobe. And the first step that I've been preaching on for the last 10 years is understanding your body type. So if you are not sure what yours is, I want you to know I've got you covered. I want you to click the link below in the description, enter 3 measurements into our proprietary body type calculator, and you're gonna learn your body type and the best way of dressing it. And the best part, it's my gift to you. It's completely free. Now, if you want to go further, I want you to know we're waiting for you inside of the Adore Your Wardrobe program, where you can take the beginning parts of understanding your body type and become an expert in what works and doesn't work for your unique body. All right, friends, remember, fashion isn't about buying more stuff. It's about buying the right stuff. And we all deserve to have a wardrobe we adore, full of pieces that fit, flatter, and make us feel amazing every time they wear them. So if this video helped you to see what's coming, maybe you kind of like had a few head nods, or you actually maybe had a moment where you were like, for the first time, I don't feel this pressure to keep up, I would love for you to give it a thumbs up or click the subscribe button to get more fashion tips. All right, that's it. I'll see you next time. Take care and God bless. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a great day.